guys, it's Cheryl, the Wandering Housesitter from the Lifestyle Digs, and I'm here to give my September roundup. What have I been doing this month? Well, a few things, but let me see. Can you see that horse in the background? I got to get myself out of the picture here. So there is a horse. She might wander into the frame. I can back up a little. So, the beginning of September found me on a house sit on Vancouver Island in the Sooke Harbor area, and it was a very peaceful location. I really enjoyed my house sit there. I had a small Jack Russell Terrier that I was taking care of, and beautiful views from the deck. There's a horse again. Yeah, there we go, that. So I had beautiful views. There were seals in the harbor. It was just a highlight, especially the swimming pool. How often do I get a house sit with a swimming pool? I just love swimming, or if not swimming, because I get kind of lazy. I kind of just more at my old age, I guess. I just more enjoy getting into the water and bobbing around. But I did swim a few laps while I was there trying to get myself back into shape. The pool was very shallow. It was 3 feet to 4 feet, so you couldn't dive here. I couldn't even tread water. I like to tread water too for a little bit of exercise. So a month too for a few medical issues that I had to take care of. The first being actually towards the end of July, I got the letter from the cancer clinic in British Columbia reminding me to go in for my mammogram. So I was in Campbell River. I was still house sitting in Campbell River at the time. So I pulled up the hospitals that were nearby. There was a hospital in Campbell River and a hospital in Comox. And where I was house sitting was approximately right in between the two of them, about 25, 30 kilometers either direction. So neither one of them had availability in August. The first was September. So no good. I'd be away out of the area in September. So then I looked at my old standby, which is Peace Arch Hospital in White Rock. First availability, mid-December. Wow. This is our healthcare system in Canada. The next closest hospital was Langley. The first availability, November. Neither of these dates would work for me because I am going on my great South American adventure, and that will begin on November 10th. So I went back to Sooke. There are no hospitals in Sooke. The closest hospitals would be in Victoria, about a 45-minute to hour drive. And I was able to find availability at Victoria General Hospital they still had availability late August, but I chose a date in early September. I went in. I've also had my results come back. Fine, no problem. There is no history of breast cancer on my mother's side, and not on my father's side either, so pretty low risk, but I do get the test done every 2 years. It was just pretty handy that I happened to be in British Columbia when I got the reminder letter to do so. Because I'm the Wandering Housesitter, I could be anywhere. I could be in England, I could be in Ontario. But my time is coming to an end in British Columbia. I am house sitting on a farm, and as you see, it has a horse, has a couple of barn cats, one house cat, and some chickens. So not too bad for me to take care of. I really enjoy all these animals. But anyway, let's get back to my health issues, because I had one more major thing that happened to me while I was on my last house sit, and that was I was getting toothache over here. Now I do have receding gum lines. You would think that happens with old age, but actually I've been having receding gum lines since the 80s. And sometimes they cause me a bit of pain, and then it goes away after a couple of days. So I'm naively thinking this is probably all it is, but the pain didn't go away with the usual stuff. I always use Sensodyne toothpaste. I was also using Oragel, which is that painkiller that you rub onto your tooth area. Nothing was having any effect. So after a couple of days, I did phone a dentist in Sooke, and that are taking new patients, and I called them in the morning. Unfortunately, they had an appointment around noon, so I went in to get a checkup and some x-rays, but they could tell right away that the tooth back here was swollen, the back molar, and the x-rays showed, sorry, I have a crown on that tooth, and the x-rays did show there was decay. So previous x-rays might not have shown it because the crown would kind of block the x-rays of any decay that's happening in a crown until it got down to a certain level where the x-rays did show. And unfortunately, it was not good news. I had to have the tooth extracted. So, you know, that's probably more of an emotional thing for me. But you know, said to the dentist, says, well, you know, I'm old and old people lose teeth, so whatever. So the dentist was able to extract it the next day. And, you know, there was some pain, but I can tell you that it was actually kind of a lesser pain than the pain I'd been having over the last couple of days with whatever was going on with the decay and the infection happening. The dentist had also noticed that there was another filling I had that it was an odor filling, and it had a crack in it, and he said, let's get that fixed too. So about 12 days later, I went back and I had that a new filling put in, and he was able to check the progress on the tooth that had been pulled and said it was healing nicely. It was a fairly easy extraction too. There was no complications, and the healing is fine. I'm not having any pain there. I had pain for about a week maybe, but just kind of a dull throb on a threshold pain of 1 to 10. It was probably about a 2 or a 3. I knew it was there, but it wasn't really causing me a whole lot of pain or distress. But still, nobody likes to lose a tooth. But I guess if I had to lose it, it was a good thing I lost it in September rather than having any pain in November when I'm going to be in South America. And I'm part of, due to being a low-income senior, I guess, but I don't know that you necessarily have to be a senior anymore. Canada does have a dental care program that they've just recently started, so I was able to get part of my dental work, the exam, the extraction, and the filling, mostly covered. I still had to pay a small amount on all those visits. Even though I have 100% coverage, the coverage is based on the rates that dentists charge in Nova Scotia. So obviously in some other provinces, probably namely Ontario and British Columbia, with the higher cost of living, the dental charges are higher, and that meant why the dental coverage did not cover it all, but it was still fairly good. Before I leave on my vacation, I'm going to go back to my dentist that I've been to before and just get my teeth cleaned and get x-rays just so we know that everything is up to date that can be. So it was probably kind of traumatic having the tooth out. Where I was house sitting in Sooke, they had Netflix. So I'm not a big Netflix fan, but I certainly turned into a couch potato because I really didn't feel like doing anything. I didn't feel like going swimming. I did not feel like doing my exercises or my yoga. So I became a couch potato, watched a few Netflix movies and a couple of TV shows. And what was the other thing? Yeah, one more thing. My car. Like everything was happening to me in September. My car, I took it in to get the oil changed. It was about 1,500 kilometers before I needed to get it done, but it also had not been changed. The oil hadn't been changed since January. It's September. I thought, yeah, let's just get it changed. And I did. All seemed to go well. The next time I drove the car, about 3 days later, I thought the car stalled on me. But now I'm not so positive the car stalled, but it lost power. It lost its forward motion, and I was stuck in really slow traffic because there was construction up ahead. But I was able to pull over to the side of the road and I turned the car off. But at no point did I see the check engine light come on or the battery light. So I'm not so certain that the car stalled. It just lost its forward momentum. So I got it down to where I was going to buy something, turned around and came back up towards where I was house sitting, and it did the same thing. It lost forward momentum up the hill. Like it just lost all power, and then it got a little bit of power, so it just kind of limped along, and then it kind of went back to its right speed limit again. And at this time I'm getting lights on in the dashboard. I got the ABS lights and I got the traction lights came on. Also I got something saying that the ability, the hill assist was disabled, and then it also said my four-wheel drive was disabled. So I got back to the house. I looked up online to see what was going on. It said when these things go on, it might be the brake fluid. Popped the hood, checked the brake fluid, looked good, it was fine, I could see it. It also said that it could be the wheel speed sensor. So I contacted a local garage and took it in, and they did a, they plug in their little scoping machine, and they said it is the right rear wheel sensors, wheel speed sensor. So they got a new one ordered in for me, and I just left it there overnight, and they got it repaired the next day. So ka-ching, ka-ching, about $500, but it was still a little bit cheaper than what he estimated it could be. He said it could be $600 or possibly more, depending on what they discovered once they removed it. But fortunately that went well, and I haven't had any more issues on my car. But this was the first time I drove it after the oil change. So I'm thinking maybe there's something going on with that, but the mechanic double checked it after he did the scope, and he checked the oil, and he said, yeah, the oil's fine. It was probably just a coincidence that it happened the first day that I drove it afterwards. So anyway, I think that's about all my news for now. I will be here where I am for the next few weeks, and then I will be off on my great South America adventure. So this is Cheryl from the Lifestyle Digs, the Wandering House Sitter. Thanks for watching today, my September roundup. Bye for now.